Hello, welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Alyssa and today I have a palette bingo with a brand new palette in my collection. So this palette that I have is very special. It's from Nomad, and if you're familiar with the brand, you probably are. They like to do lots of travel themed makeup. So they go somewhere and then they're, using that inspiration to come up with an eyeshadow palette and sometimes other things. So this one, when they were kind of previewing it, teasing it, hinting at all the stuff, I realized, hey, this is a palette based on where I live, which is really cool. It's, I know of these places, the colors definitely match with the vibe here. And, I was getting excited, but I've never bought from Nomad. I'm not the type that goes and buys a whole bunch of eyeshadow all the time. I try to, keep it more minimal. I have a lot, I feel like, I can't use all the eyeshadow that I own before it expires, but, I do wear it every day. I enjoy it a lot. So, I try to buy with that in mind. And yeah, so it's like, well, all of the palettes that they have shared, this would be one that I would be tempted by. And I already had in my head that I might purchase it if I was still interested by the time Black Friday rolled around, because it might go on sale, and that would have given me time to, really see if I still wanted it, not just that initial excitement. But I didn't have to exercise any willpower because Jan, who is here on YouTube and Instagram, she does a giveaway with the different Nomad palettes that she receives in PR. Well, she'll receive one in PR and then she will purchase one for her giveaway winner. And I happened to open my YouTube app. I forget what I was about to do, or I don't know. I just, I'm just in the middle of doing stuff, just kind of like open and, see. I go right to subscriptions every time just to see what people have, uploaded and all that. And I look and I'm like, Miss Alyssa JM. That's me. And it was, I think, like 2 minutes after she had posted, and it was just the random luck that I happened to see it so quickly, and I was so excited. And yeah, so, and it was cool because I'd actually told my kids and my husband about the palette, just, like, oh, this, like, look at it, and, like, they saw the pictures and like, oh yeah, that is really pretty, and the, imprints are cool. And then I get to win it. So anyway, Jen and I talked about how we would do a collab video once I actually got it, and so I have it. I did technically do a look this morning because I had a meeting, and then I'm back now, and so, I just kind of picked 3 colors. They weren't necessarily the ones that were most calling out to me as like, these are the super favorite shades I think I'm gonna have of the palette. It was just what I felt like in the morning. I wanted to keep it easy. So, I didn't use a ton of shades, but also because I knew I was gonna be doing a palette bingo. So let me go ahead and let's get into this more. Let me get the makeup on my face and pick those shades. Okay, so when I do palette bingos, I do 5 eyeshadows. I'm not always the type to use 5 eyeshadows in a look, but I try to challenge myself a little bit with the palette bingo. And like I said, I kind of want to, this is when I'm first kind of cracking into the palette more, so I want to get a good feeling for it. All right, so let's see, actually we'll do this so I'm not cheating. All right, the first shade is number 13. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch it now. So it's the shade Leaping Orcas. So it is this blue, so I'm just gonna put it right here so we can keep track. All right, next one. 15, that is Olympic Mountains. Okay, make sure my finger's dry before I go grab it. I don't know why I did the swipe that direction. Now they all have to go that way, or it's gonna look, it's gonna look really weird. Look at that. Oops. Okay, next. 16. Hold on. No, I'm fine. I thought I'd messed up, but no, we're good. All right, this is Multnomah Falls, which this is one I had not heard of before because it's in Oregon and I live in Washington. So, it's not like I couldn't have heard of it, but I just hadn't, but my husband had. So it does kind of have, it's a dark base, but there's a lot of like multicolored sparkles in it. I am gonna put swatches and all up of the palette too. All right, 2 more shades. 18, Now this is a shade I used this morning. It's called Salmon Run. So that's, whoops, sorry, that's just very bright and sparkly. I feel like I can see it better on my side. I guess if I did like, here we go, that'll look better. Okay, final shade, 11. Okay, that's perfect Pinot. No, what am I saying, Pinot? Wow, perfect Pinot, like Pinot Grigio. I don't know why I like when I add like an extra kind of thing to it. Okay, so I didn't get any blending out shades for me. This will make it, do I go for one more to see if I get a blending shade? I think I'm gonna try and hope for the best. 3, yay! Another shade, no, I did not use this one this morning. I was thinking about it, but instead I used the Sea Stacks shade. Okay, so Pacific Crest. All right, this will help me a lot. All right, let's see. So here we go. These are the 6 shades that I'm going to be using in my look. I have a plan. I am going to do this light green in my crease, but I'm also going to deepen out the outer edge with that darker green. I might also use, I'm trying to decide if I want to use the blue or the brown to deepen the corner. I might try the blue first. I feel like that might work better. And then I'm thinking on the lower lash line will be the neutrals, and then this will go all over my lid. So it's gonna be a little smoky. I might do some of this though on the main lid as well. But yeah, I do want to just again say thank you to Jan for doing the giveaway, because I mean, like I said, I am someone who was a little nervous about trying Nomad because I've heard mixed reviews, and you know, it's a lot of money to spend on something that you're not sure if you're going to love, and you want to love it. And it's also, it's not like I needed more eyeshadow. Like some of these colors I definitely have already. So, you know, this is not meant to be, oh yeah, you better go out and buy this palette because you're missing out. This is just something that's, you know, it's extra cool for me to have. And, you know, it's just, I'm looking at it as a present, okay? It doesn't mean I'm gonna then start to go buy all the Nomad palettes. I will say that this morning I was really happy with how the shadows blended. Like this shade is going on pretty well. It's a little bit darker like there, but I mean, it's fine. That might just be kind of how my, you know, bone structure is there. All right, so now the darker green, Olympic Mountains. I'm trying not to care about wearing away the imprints, because, you know, it's just gonna happen. And that's why I took pictures and all of that. So, you know, I don't wanna treat this as like, no, I don't wanna pan it ever. It's like, no, that would be a good thing. Okay, but yeah, so I just wanna thank Jan again. You know, it's very exciting. She's just so sweet and get so excited about her makeup. You know, if you, for some reason you're not watching her channel, I just feel like, you know, she brings a nice light into the makeup space. You know, she'll bring in more makeup than I do, but it doesn't make me feel like I need to go and have all the things. It doesn't give me some sort of FOMO. It's just that excitement of playing with the makeup, and then I can feel, you know, excited to play with my own makeup. So yeah, but I mean, I guess if you're really, if that's, you would still be tempted, then, you know, but I don't feel that way. I did have some questions that I want to make sure I answer, because it was my idea to have some questions. Let me see. Okay, now the Leaping Orcas, I'm gonna, like I said, try to do as like a deepening. Although let me put on my green first and then try to deepen like that. Okay, so the first question, and I didn't actually think about answers for these, I just kind of had some questions that I thought would be fun to share answers to and that people might want to know. So I had, what should someone new to your channel know about you? So part of the reason I came with this one was I figured, well, just in case, you know, someone hadn't watched Jan's channel that was coming from mine or vice versa, then now I'm gonna do that blue. You know, what should people know? What would be good for that? So let's see. If I was only picking, I didn't say it had to only be one thing. So maybe you know, a major thing might be, like, as I was saying, that I'm not all about buying all the new makeup. So if you're coming to me for reviews of the new stuff, that's not going to be what I am all about. I like watching some of those things. It's fun to see that stuff, but yeah, sorry, I just got distracted because Jan just messaged me while I'm doing this, like the questions, which is going on, like, wait, what? So anyway, just reading what she had to say. She's, again, so sweet. All right, I'm having a little bit of a watery eye moment. So this is nothing on the eyeshadow at all, because over here is totally fine. It's just what my eyes like to do, and it's mostly just my right eye. Okay, let me go back to my questions. So let's see, and I did this, and then I was gonna do this shimmer, but maybe I'll work on that lower lash line. Okay, so yeah, so knowing that I'm kind of more of a panning channel or using my makeup, trying to do different things. Like I have a project right now where I'm trying to use all the eyeshadows in my collection 10 times and see how long that takes me. Ideally, it would be a year, but it might not be, and that's part of the whole, like, oh, because now I just brought in more eyeshadow, but it's okay, because like I said, the colors actually are up my alley. I've been really into green recently. I feel like it's a very flattering color with my eyes not. Okay, there is some shimmer on this brush, so oops. I'm trying to use the perfect Pinot shade, but I will say the shimmer that's on it is the salmon run, because that's what I had done this morning. So it's okay, it'll end up giving that look. And I really haven't had, like, there's a little bit of fallout, but I think I had, but yeah, there hasn't been a lot of fallout from these dark shades, which is nice, because I'm not super careful with my makeup as I'm putting it on. So the shade looks reddish in the pan, kind of like, or like a very red brown, but it's definitely more just almost neutrally brown on me, I will say. Okay, and then like I said, I'm gonna put the salmon run on the front part here. Oops, sorry, I'm blocking when I do that. Okay, I am wetting my brush. All right, I'm getting too far with this and not answering my own questions. Okay, so yeah, let's just say that's the main thing, is that's the type of channel that I am, so if you're interested in that. If you could go anywhere in the world without having to worry about travel inconveniences, if we're ignoring all of the other potential issues, it's just to go somewhere because you want to just see it. Maybe you're getting there by teleportation, you know, so you don't have to worry about a long airplane flight if you're like my kids and have terrible motion sickness. I have to say, okay, so I've spent some time debating with myself, and I think I'm kind of between two places right now, but gosh, there's so much of the world that if I could just see it, you know, by just showing up somehow with teleportation, that would be amazing. But I'm torn between Italy and Japan. Italy, a lot of family was from there, so that would be, you know, kind of neat on that side, but there's also just a lot of, you know, the different ruins and stuff and famous things from a long time ago, places and all to go see. But then there's also the countryside that I think would be really beautiful to see. And I feel like the temperature, like there would be warm areas, but then there's also a little bit more temperate that would work well for me because I'm not a huge hot weather type of person. So yeah, I think that would be sort of nice, and not having to worry if my kids were bored by seeing some of this stuff. Like, you know, again, we're taking all that stuff out of it. It's just like me, and that my kids would just be happy to join me on any long hikes and things. And then Japan, I feel like, I mean, also with Italy, I would love the food, but I feel like with Japan, there's a lot of food there that I like. There's also, again, lots of old places to check out, but then also really beautiful scenery, landscape stuff as well to see. So that's why I'm saying Japan, not just like Tokyo or something, because there's so many different things to see. I'm gonna start putting that salmon run shade on. I had wet my brush. It's still a little bit wet, but just to help it kind of stay where I want it to. Although I probably should have used a little bit of a smaller brush here, but that's okay. And then, all right, name a drink with a strong memory for you and tell us. That one I was putting because I had an answer in mind. With my mom and I guess it started, was it when my brother had private lessons? So my brother did trumpet for a while, and he was really good, and he was, doing lessons and all. I think it might have been from that to start. I'm going to, for the shade going on my lid, I'm going to use a tacky primer. But then I started doing private lessons for my violin. Not a lot. It was mostly because I was entering a competition that I didn't do well with, but I also didn't think I would, but my teacher had made me try it. Not my private teacher, but my regular school teacher. And I guess I'm using this brush. I didn't realize I grabbed that one. All right, the Nomad Falls, but I'm gonna let this dry for a bit. So yeah, there was a coffee place that was in the shopping center where the lessons were. So like once, we would be waiting for my brother, I think for his, but then when I started, it would be sort of either before the lesson, or I feel like we were doing it sometimes after, but we would get an iced cappuccino that we would share because we didn't have a lot of money. So buying one to share was plenty. And then I guess, the way they did it though, I would say, I didn't realize they must have, I don't know, used less coffee or something, or their coffee was just less strong. Because then when I tried at Starbucks, when they finally had a Starbucks out there, oh my gosh, I would get such heart palpitations, and I still have that when I go most places, but if I make my own, I'm okay. So I don't know. All right, I can feel that it's drying down, so I'm gonna go ahead and start adding that shade on. Let me see how this looks. But yeah, that was, so, when I don't often have an iced cappuccino, but I will say sometimes, like, if my coffee cools down, and I add milk to mine, so it's basically a cappuccino in a way. I mean, I have the whipped cream and all that, I guess, too, but I don't know. I'm terrible because I don't know what all the different things, like what is a cappuccino, so I'm thinking, I guess, iced coffee or something, but whatever. But yeah, when sometimes it's cooled down, or if I put it in the fridge and then finish it, it does make me think of my mom. And if you're new to my channel, then you might not know, my mom passed away from cancer. How many years ago now? 17 years ago. Yes, 17 years ago. So, anything that reminds me of my mom is something special. I mean, something that reminds me in a good way, not like when I hear about cancer stuff and all that. That tends to make me feel other types of ways. But, all right, this is really pretty. And like I said, I think I want to use that salmon run shade on the inner part just because I like having a little bit of lightness for myself. All right, let me grab that salmon run shade. And then I had, one more question. What kind of makeup look would you like to do, but aren't a fan of it on yourself? So I guess this is kind of a example. I do like seeing other people do smoky eyes and things like that. Wow, that actually showed up really pigmented, like it's kind of, I might have to kind of go back and forth between the two shimmers. I was trying to blend it a bit more, but it's just like really strong impact. Not a bad thing. And yeah, I like smoky eyes. Well, that's one. And then the other is doing like those where people will do the eyeliner that kind of comes here. I think like the fox eye, and like, I think it has other names too, but that type of thing. I think it looks so cool, but for me, one, my eye just waters and runs, and it then looks bad pretty quickly. But it also just, I don't have much of an inner corner, so it's kind of a hard look for me to do. All right, I'm trying to say which eye I like better, because this one I went further over with the salmon run shade, and this one is a little bit more blended. So I want to go more with the blended. I feel like yes. So let me kind of come in a little bit more with that other. Can I just do this? Yes. that works. All right, now I did get a little bit of fallout from this, but I can clean that up. And then, yeah, other than this eye being a pain in the patootie, let's see, can I don't know if it's gonna stay. But yeah, so those are my answers to the questions. And, okay, let me go ahead and finish up this look and then I'm gonna come back to you. And here we are. So what do you think of my finished look? I really like the sparkles in this. I feel like, you know, even though it's a dark shade, I can appreciate the sparkle. And I, you know, like that I had this lighter shade to kind of help me. I like having that lighter part here. So if I'm gonna have something so dark for a smoky eye, for me doing it dark all the way across is a little bit much for myself. But yeah, and I'm so glad that I continued for that 6 shades so that I could have that light color, because again, that's something that makes me feel better about a look, is to have that brightness. And yeah, I'm, you know, so again, these were my colors and this is my look. And I got them all in just fine. So it kind of helps show that it's a pretty cohesive palette, that I just took, you know, 6 random shades and that they, you know, it's not like it's just all greens. There's some variety with the blue and all, and it just all is working together. So I can't wait to keep working with this palette and see what else I come up with. And it feels like such the perfect time of year to be using these colors. So again, I just want to thank you, Jan, for doing this. Also, little fun side note, my mom's name is, or was, whatever, Jan as well. So, you know, it's a little special then too that, you know, oh. So anyway, it's a good name. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you want to subscribe to my channel and see more like palette bingos and, you know, other random makeup content, then feel free. Until my next video, I hope you'll be doing well, and I'll see you then. Bye!